Welcome everyone. My name is Ibrahim Olawumi Haruna. I'm going to be your host for tonight's event, and this is the sixth series of this event, NCBN. And for the benefit of you who doesn't know much about NCBN, I'm going to play a little video as an intro. Please go ahead and watch. Thank you.
You know, it's a great time to be a Nigerian or Canadian in business and to be part of a strong and supportive networking group. Now, Nigerian and Canadian Business Network, NCBN, provide lucrative opportunities and added value to the bottom line. We are power circles that enhance personal, professional, and company brands. The success of a person's career depends on the strength of his or her network, expertise, hard work, and the ability to build relationships. NCBN is also the voice of Nigerian business community in Canada. NCBN symbolizes excellence, inspiration, celebration, and success for all Nigerians and Canadians doing business in both countries. We facilitate meaningful approaches to beneficial networking, embrace new ways of enriching our connections, and raising awareness of our members. Rich in our membership, we embrace business people of all ages, cultures, industries, and professions. We are mentors, sharing experiences, challenges, and wisdom, collaborating within the network, and ultimately building a great bilateral business community. Our focus is the promotion of bilateral trade between Nigeria and Canada. So join us today at www.ncbn.ca. You'll love being a member of our NCBN network.
So there you have it. So for those who doesn't know much about NCBN, so now you know. So next on our agenda is I'm going to invite I'm just want to encourage all of you that are joining. Please, as you are joining, kindly put your go on mute, and so but whenever it gets to you turn to talk, you can unmute, or whenever you're going to ask questions, you can unmute. But as you are coming in, please go on mute. The next on our agenda is to invite the president of the NCBN Toronto Hub, in person of Barrister Akinleju, for his opening remark. Barrister, go for it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim, and thank you everyone for joining today. For those of us who are joining from outside Canada, we know depending on the region you're in, we know it's a bit closer to night, so we're going to be very quick about the program of today. We've had a very wonderful introduction of NCBN. And I'm not going to say a lot about NCBN, but to know more about us, you can go to our website, www.ncbn.ca. You can learn more about us and how to join us and all that. So all protocols observed. I appreciate everyone who has joined us today. I appreciate our Mr. Chairman of Canada NCBN. That's Dr. Adewale Adesoya, members of the council. Thank you, Mr. Vice President of Toronto Hub, as well as other presidents of the different hubs all over Canada. Thank you so much for your support and everything that you've done. By the way, this is our sixth program, which we have called the Bridge Builders Series. Bridge Builders Series. This is a series that we started last year, and at this time, because of the important role that we know that the SME play generally in the economy, we have titled this one "Leveraging Canadian Technology, Nigerian Small and Medium Enterprises." So, if you're here today and you're a proprietor of an SME, you are in the very right place. But as you will hear later on from the Vice President, this is just a preliminary meeting for us to get to know each other before we move to the next meeting of establishing a bilateral framework for a good business between and Canada. We are aware
Can you mute your phone, please? Everyone, please. Can you mute your mute?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. I had to mute everyone. But please, as we come in, please let us kindly mute ourselves so that we can enjoy the program and finalize this very quickly. Yeah. So I welcome each and every one of us to this our workshop. We are trying to run quickly with time. Before we go ahead, I'm going to invite my colleague to play a small video about the about our chairman of the NITCOM. But remember that just before this video goes on, I will launch a poll. Just a few questions which I'm sure that we can answer within a few minutes. We just wanted to find out how we can be of a better service to all our communities. For example, people who want to join NCBN, there's an opportunity. And if you're an SME, a proprietor, there are also some questions that I wanted you to answer there. So please, I will encourage us to quickly take some time to go through that. We have assembled quite an impressionable number of speakers and people who are subject matter experts in the industry, both in Canada and in Nigeria. And I'm sure that by the time we put an end to this program today, I'm sure you have a lot of things to recall and remember about what we did. Usually, if you also want to find out more information about the organization NCBN, please, you can send your emails to info@ncbn.ca, info@ncbn.ca. We've provided opportunity for question and answer. Please, if you have a question, you can feel free to type it into the chat box. But if there's opportunity, definitely by the time we get to that stage, we will also give you the opportunity. But like we said earlier on, time is very crucial to us. We don't want to overstay our allotted time. So I see quite a few people they've responded to the poll, but I'm going to allow our coordinator to go ahead, and we hear the a speech from the chairman of NITCOM, Honorable Abike Dabiri. But please kindly complete that poll because it's very important for us. Thank you very much once again, and you're all welcome.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Please, all of you, we're going to play the video from the chairman of NITCOM, Honorable Abike Dabiri. Please go ahead and watch.
Hello everyone, nice to be with you again at another in the series of the Bridge Builders Series put together by the Nigerian Canadian Business Network. I commend the Nigerian Canadian Business Network for putting this together. These conversations are useful and effective, and it continues to encourage conversations between you and your home country. And of course, NITCOM being the bridge between you and your home country is always a pleasure and a delight to be with you as we continue to have these conversations. Now, I know that the Nigerian Canadian Business Network, now let me commend you for all you've been trying to do in terms of direct investments into Nigeria. Hopefully very soon we'll be talking about diaspora direct investment. We keep talking about FDI, foreign direct investment, but we should be able to talk about diaspora direct investment. In other words, what you, the diaspora, are doing. For instance, the NCBN, you're doing, or at least you plan to do so much, particularly in the areas of bilaterals between Canada and Nigeria in terms of technology transfer and investing in SMEs. So we look forward to hearing more about that with you. And the good news is this, now we have a diaspora policy. So with the passage of the diaspora policy approved by the Federal Executive Council, now we have a framework for holistic diaspora engagement. You can get a copy of the policy on our website. You'll get all the details of that website after this, my speech with you. So download the diaspora policy and read more about it. So with this policy, whatever it is you want to do, there's a framework for it. So in terms of, for instance, the technology transfer, the bilaterals in terms of technology, when you just link up with us, we link you with the relevant department, ministry and agency that will be working with you. So let's just hear from you and know specifically what you want to do, how you want to go about it, and then you got NITCOM to work with you. So we have no more excuses. Now we have a diaspora policy. And of course we have a diaspora commission. So no more excuses about paying lip service to the issues of diaspora, being able to be part of whatever is going on in their own country. And of course I'd like to let you know that in terms of diaspora voting, we've gone very far with Parliament, and hopefully as they amend the Constitution, the bit on diaspora voting will be amended to make it possible for you to vote. Of course, we have the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit coming up in November, and I hope that you will participate fully and talk more about the various projects that the NCBN is planning to have in Nigeria. And of course, you know the Diaspora Day is coming up July 25. It's going to be a webinar because of COVID restrictions. So I look forward to all of you participating and being part of that conversation to make the diaspora truly, the backbone of our country. We cannot and never ignore the diaspora. And of course, we also have the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Trust Fund, which I hope will take off sometime before the end of the year, where you can invest in whatever area you choose to. So we hope that we can put the fund in place, and we want NCBN to be a major player here. So once more, let's know what you want to do, particularly in terms of what you have been talking about, bilaterals, Canada, Nigeria technology transfer with SMEs. We will be glad to work with you. And like I said, there are no more excuses. We have the framework, we have the policy, we have the law in place to work with you, the diaspora. Once more, thank you, NCBN, for always doing this. We want practical results, but the next time I want to see you on ground here, actually with your diaspora direct investment in Nigeria, and also training the younger ones, knowledge transfer, capacity building, whatever you want to do. Nobody is stopping you, and nobody should stop us except ourselves. No more excuses. Once more, look forward to seeing you back home. Best wishes, and God bless you all. Enjoy this Bridge Builders Series.
So there you have it, guys. No more excuses. They want to see all of you back home to help transfer the knowledge, to also bring all your expertise to help build the country. While it's a collaborative effort, we all have to work together in order to be able to make this work. And so we're one nation, guys. For the polls, we have 21 out of 37. For those of you who are joining, please do the poll. Mr. President, should we give them a few seconds to finish up the poll, then we'll move to the next item on the agenda? What do you suggest?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead. We'll take the polls after that.
Okay. All right. So let's go to the next item on the agenda. So for those of you who are coming in, so we're making good progress on the agenda. Before I introduce the next speaker, so after that, we're going to now start our series of other speakers to start speaking, right? So without much ado, I would like to call on the Vice President of NCBN Toronto Hub, in person of Jackson Libinoson. Please come aboard.
Thank you, moderator, for the warm introduction. All protocols duly observed. Good afternoon to everyone for joining today's workshop from all parts of the world where you joined us. Today's deliberation is a part of a Canada-Nigerian bilateral framework which is being conceived to assist Nigerian SMEs unleash its full potential. During a recent strategy session with key officials of SMEDAN, Small Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, The following areas were highlighted as some of the major challenges confronting this critical sector of the nation's economy. Number one, affordable finance. 2, capacity building. Number 3, affordable and durable work tools and equipment designed to the peculiarity of the local environment. 4, workspace. And lastly, assistance in navigating regulatory issues in Nigeria. Officials of SMEDAN went further to say, though financing is critical for the survival of an average Nigerian SME, but the skill to manage finance is even much more important. Went further to say access to market via offtake agreements and the likes is also an area they would like us to work with them. I would like to quote an extract from the World Bank, which says, SME, small medium enterprises, account for the majority of businesses worldwide and are important contributor to job creation and global economic development. They represent about 90% of businesses and more than 50% of employment worldwide. Former SMEs contribute up to 40% of national income, GDP, in emerging economies. Similarly, in the development of this bilateral framework conceived to avail Canadian technology in support of Nigeria SMEs, we will be factoring areas highlighted in our previous consultation with SMEDAN, as well as some of the takeaway from this deliberation. Distinguished participants, we recognize that a more coordinated support for this sector of the nation's economy will ultimately lead to increased job opportunities for both citizens of Nigeria and Canada, contributing to jobs and wealth creation in consequence. I thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. That was a good one. Okay. So now we're going to go to the full speakers now to start the event. So before I start the introduction, and I'm going to like to introduce myself, that will be hosting your speaker. So I started my career in planning and design engineer in 2000, that's over 21 years ago in Nigeria, working for a services company to Chevron, after which I moved to Econet Wireless as the project manager, and from there to MTN as a regional manager. And in 2004, I came here to Canada to land, went back, and in 2005, I moved here finally. So in Canada, continuing my journey working as a project manager, and in the last year, I moved to the world of Agile project management, where we have to create values to organization in delivering values in an incremental basis. And so I've been an Agile coach for the past 6 years, working for organizations such as Royal Bank, TD Bank, Morgan Stanley, which is an investment banking, some client corporations, TELUS Communications, Rogers, and currently working for Rogers. And so my work is to work with the executive, with leaders, to have strategic planning, to guide them on how to actually create values for the organization, so that they can realize return on investment in a very short possible way. Unlike in the older way of doing things where you have to wait for so long before you can realize those investments. So that's a little about me. So I'm the program manager for NCBN. So I work with the president, the chairman, and everyone to help keep all this event going and see how we can create values for our country, our home country, Nigeria. Now I'm going to start with the first speaker for today, which is going to be Engineer Abu Osigi from SMEDAN. In terms of education, Engineer Abu Osigi has his BEng in mechanical engineering from University of Ilorin. He's my alumni. That's where I had my first degree. And also he went further to have his MSc in production engineering from ABU Zaria. In terms of work history, he was a lecturer at ABU, Bauchi, and ABU Zaria for some time, after which he worked he became an assistant comptroller for immigration at Federal Ministry of Interior. He is the director, engineering and technology, innovation, and infrastructure at the Small Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN. In terms of professional associations, he's a member of Nigerian Society of Engineers, Nigeria Institute of Mechanical Engineers, Institute of Procurement, among others. Please join me in welcoming Engineer Osigi. Engineer Osigi, you have the floor. Please, you have 5 minutes to talk about what you have to share with us. Okay, go ahead. Do we have Engineer Osigi on the call?
I think he's on mute.
Engineer Osigi, please, can you unmute yourself? Can you unmute him? Engineer Osigi. Are you hearing me now? Yes, we can hear you now. Hello? We can hear you. Yeah, please go ahead.
I am greatly delighted to be able to say that we are not doing bad. Last check, the attendance is 43, which I think is not bad. And I do hope that we'll have very interesting takeaway from this meeting, particularly with the involved entrepreneurs. Said that I'm aware I have 5 minutes. I do hope to spend less than that. 3 minutes will just be enough.
Engineer Osigi, Engineer Osigi,
yes?
Is your video on?
It's on video.
So if because of the bandwidth where your voice is cracking, if you can turn off your video, we'll be able to hear. We can hear you better.
Yes, are you hearing me now?
Perfect. Yes. Thank you.
So, in terms of number, the micro, small, and medium enterprises in Nigeria, based on the last survey, which we had in collaboration with the National Bureau of Statistics, the number is put at 41.5 million. 41.5 million MSMEs, small businesses in Nigeria. Of this number, over 99% of this number are micro. This means businesses that has a workforce of less than 10, specifically 99.8% are micro businesses. In terms of job creation, they constitute about 77% of the workforce. Again, the small businesses in Nigeria contribute about 50% of the nominal GDP. Specifically, that survey revealed that the contribution to nominal GDP is 49.78. But more worrisome is the fact that the contribution to exports is less than 10%. And that obviously calls for to think more. Specifically, the data revealed that the contribution to export is just 7.6%. So for a group of businesses that constitute 77% of the workforce, that contributes half of the to nominal GDP, to now have a contribution to export of 7.6% is worrisome. So naturally, one will begin to wonder what could be the challenge. What is hindering their contribution to workforce? What would readily come to mind, perhaps based on my background, is the obvious challenge of equipment and technology, and again the fact that our small businesses are not competitive. They are probably not innovative enough so that they can access international market. But I believe in the course of this interaction, we'll be hearing from some of the entrepreneurs. We'll be hearing from them from the horse's mouth. And I guess as we all engage together, we'll be able to provide a solution as to the way forward. But particularly on behalf of the Director General of SMEDAN, I want to say that we are excited about this engagement we are having with the Nigerian Canadian Business Network. And we are hoping that this interaction will help to uplift our small business community to the next level. Thank you.
That was a great one, Mr. Osege. Thank you so much for that. So I want to remind all of you on the call that you have feel free to put in your question and answer in the chat room as we speak, so that before we get to the Q&A, feel free to always put in your question and we'll surely get back to you. I think we have, from the small medium scale representative, we have Mr. Duro Kuteye, who is the MD and CEO of Spectra Industry Limited. Do we have him on the bridge?
Yes,
yes. And Mr. Duro can share his own experience from the medium scale and enterprises perspective. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm the president of Association of Agro and Food Processors of Nigeria. And, you know, our major problem has been that we have some machines. Machines are imported all over the world to Nigeria. And unfortunately, the maintenance side of it is not that good enough. So some machines are broken down and need spare parts and repairs. If we can jointly establish, Nigeria and Canada can jointly establish standard workshop in Lagos to repair and re-engineer some of these machines and start to fabricate new machine for the SME in the area of food processing and packaging. Then development and marketing of exportable products for Canada. And in this way, we need assistance in the area of export to Canada. Getting funds into the association cooperative society, you know, like we have cooperative society to assist manufacturers. This area, we need a lot of funds there that can be disbursed to our members at low interest rate in single digits. So I think here I will stop. I thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Duro Kuteye. Okay, now you guys are hearing all this. So we also have, do we have Philo El Hassan Kaka on bridge? Are you on bridge?
Please, sorry, Mr. Ibrahim.
Sure.
Can I make a quick observation?
Please go ahead.
The last speaker. Hello, the last speaker.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, did you have enough time to exhaust yourself? I mean, all you needed to talk about, because I mean, what you were presenting is really critical to the Canada-Nigerian bilateral framework, because I want to really appeal to the audience that we give you additional 5 minutes to really continue.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, it's like people complain about things not moving in Nigeria, SME not performing. SME is responsible for 10% export. But since there are things that are supposed to be developed to make export easy for Nigerians. You know, in other countries, you have products, semi-finished products. These semi-finished products are imported into Nigeria to be used as raw material for the multinationals. And because of this, they are able to produce throughout the year. But in Nigeria, we rely on raw agri produce. And when these things are off season, then the factories are closed. They cannot produce at the rate at which raw material are being sold. Take, for example, when soya was in season, soya was sold for about 150,000 naira. That's 150 per kilo. But now soya is about 400 naira per kilo. So these are some of the problems we have. There is need for industry to do semi-finished products that can maintain and sustain the SME factories throughout the year, that they will be guaranteed of raw materials. So these are some of the things that are our problem. Not that we are not ready to produce, and not that we are not ready to export. So when you look at the other side of it, the machineries are imported, and most times we lack the necessary foreign exchange to bring in the spare parts or to even buy new machines. This is an area whereby we can collaborate with people in Canada in terms of funding the machinery for our operations. And we need solid machinery from Europe, from America, to be able to produce profitably for the export markets. Just like I was in Thailand sometimes, I wanted to enter their factory where they were doing rice. They said, no, I could not enter because it's dangerous. I said, what's dangerous there? They said, you see, I then asked them, where do you get your machines? They said they import from Germany to be able to produce for export. And if Nigeria will produce for export, we need reliable machineries from Europe and America and Canada. So I think all these things are things that we need to look at.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So Justin, are you okay so that I can call on
yes.
Madam?
Yes.
Okay.
But we'll be connecting with you, Mr. Duro, because again, one of the takeaway from this conference is to actually establish a team that will form the Canada-Nigeria bilateral framework to actually make recommendation for the areas you spoke about. I thank you, Mr. Duro.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let's call on our lady in the house, Philo El Hassan. It's good to have a lady to also bring her perspective as well. A brief introduction about Philo El Hassan Kaka. She is the CEO of Lalfe Farms Nigeria Limited, which is a fruit and vegetable processing company located in Abuja, Nigeria. Can you unmute yourself and give us your own perspective? Let's hear from you.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity to interact and basically share knowledge and information. Thanks to the NCBN and also thanks to SMEDAN for this platform. So Lalfe Farms processes fruits and vegetables, and we all know the issues around fruits and vegetable production in Nigeria with post-harvest losses and you know, a lot of food wastage. So that's why we decided to actually process and add value in order to increase the shelf life. So our main issue when it comes to the work we do is actually power. And you know, we can talk as much as we want around the opportunities that exist in the country, the human resource, and but the main thing that is critical to everything else coming together is power. Where there's no power to produce, no production can happen. So where as an SME, you're generating your own power and spending so much money that could have gone into power, into producing actual commodities, where you're spending that money in generating your own power. Of course, you then start to question how competitive you can be in the international space. So while it's exciting to look into exports, we have to sort the internal, issues that exist that prohibit production to that scale. So for us, power is a major one. In addition to power, of course, you have the transportation issues, because in Nigeria, every state has their area of comparative advantage, what they produce. And you have to, if you're not running your processing factory in that location, of course, you then have to transport quite a number of things to your location in order to process. So infrastructure in general is a big issue, with power being the primary one. There are also issues with regards to human capacity. Human resources that exist. So staffing issues, for example. These are things that we might take very lightly, but they are actually critical to the success of the business. So in talking about staffing, you wonder, okay, what kind of people are available to work in the, what are the capacities of the people that exist in the workforce? And that's where the type of the quality of graduates then come in. Quality of graduates, irrespective of the courses that are being studied, but what's the mindset with regards to work and actually contributing, positively to the society. So you definitely have these human capacity gaps, and I'll connect this to the discussions on machinery that Mr. Duro had actually touched base on. Quite a number of us actually import machinery, and even as a small business, you have the exchange rate issues and all those other things you deal with. So ideally, we'll prefer to source machinery locally. Then you're not dealing with exchange rate issues. You're not dealing with human technical know-how issues when this machinery need to be maintained, serviced, or repaired. So the preference is internal sourcing. So, where do our engineering departments in the universities come in, or in the polytechnics come in? Why are we not able to produce? I know we're able to do it, but why are we not actually producing machinery locally? Until we start from the grassroots, looking inwards, producing our machinery and getting that army. I use China as an example in most cases. The SMEs are the ones that run the economy there. So, the very micro feeding into the micro, and then the micro feeding into the small. And that's how you get the whole system, ready to run. So discussions have to happen at that level. We go deep down and get everybody on board in this journey. So there's quite a lot of work to be done internally before we then start looking at exports. Once we sort out the internal issues around power, infrastructure, technical know-how, and the human capacity issues, then we can face the issues that also exist at the borders. So you get your items ready for export. How are you exporting? if you're trying to get through a Apapa Port, because that's the primary, you know, exit points. And we all know the challenges that exist with that point. So with the African Free Trade Agreements, even you know, coming up now, those challenges are going to be brought to the spotlight, considering you have countries like Ghana who don't necessarily have the same challenges, and then you're supposed to compete with them in the export space. So discussions like this are actually critical so that we get to the bottom of the issues and then position ourselves better for business. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that insight. So Jackson, do you want to have any comment before we go to the next speaker?
Yes.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, Firo, for that very beautiful presentation. So the discussions like this are indeed very critical so that we get to the bottom of the issue, so that when we're developing solution, we know we're actually developing an informed solution. So again, today's engagement is a part of a Canada-Nigerian bilateral framework, which the Nigerian-Canadian Business Network is championing, you know, but the whole essence is actually to see how we can work closely with stakeholders back home, so that we develop solutions that will be long-term, and targeted to the small, medium enterprises of Nigeria. And Phil, I really thank you for that insight, and all the points you spoke about, they are duly noted. So I will then pass the floor to Mr. Moderator. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jackson. I saw some people raising up their hands. We're going to come back to you folks live. So we're going to have to move to the Bank of Industry Insight. I have Mr. Obalo Osa. Mr. Obalo Osa is the AGM and SME South, SME Group, Bank of Industry. And he had banking and finance from University of Lagos, also MBA. He's also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. He has over 20 years experience in the financial industry, international operations, trade services, treasury operations, and also other leadership roles. He's an expert in MSME. He's also a member of the National Industrial Revolution Plan. He's a member of the National Industrial Revolution Plan and Economic Recovery Group Plan, ELGP. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Obalo to bring his insight. Please come on board.
Thank you, my brother. Good evening, those in Nigeria, and then I think good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. As he said, my name is Obaro Osa, and I work for the Bank of Industry. The Bank of Industry was established in 1959, so we are more than 60 years old, with a vision to be Africa's leading development financial institution, operating under best global practices. Our mission is to transform Nigerian industrial sector by providing financial and business support services to enterprises. These enterprises are basically within three buckets: the micro enterprises, the small and medium enterprises, and of course the large and corporate, some we call it the corporate enterprises. So, and because of that mandate, we actually have three directorates focusing on one majorly on micro, another on SMEs, and the third on large corporates. So that clearly falls within the mandate of what we are discussing today with NCBN. So I think we can be a strategic partner, in trying to see what we can do to move our country forward. Our mandate to provide financial assistance for the establishment of large, medium, small companies, as well as expansion, diversification, and modernization of existing enterprises and rehabilitation of ailing industries. So it actually runs across everything, from new to the one that's not doing well, want to get it back, to the ones that have technology challenges, you want to apply new technology, to the ones that are running well, they want to expand them, so it cut across really, and I'm happy that Mr. Duru Kutei has spoken. That is one of our customers, and I'm looking forward to also meeting Firo in Abuja, who is into fruit and vegetables, Now, why is this important? This is important because as an institution, we've been around for 160 years. And so all we deal with every day has to do with MSMEs in addition to the large corporate. But the challenge we have are more within the SME space and less of the large corporate space. The large corporates are well established, well organized, strong management, corporate governance, strong security, deep strength in ability to meet the requirement of bank funding. But for the SME space, it's not the same. So what the bank has done is to actually also tailor our requirements, to recognize the peculiarities of each of these subsectors. So for instance, within the micro space, this traditional people who borrow less than 10 million naira to run their businesses. What the bank has done is to provide some relief in terms of areas of collateral. So for people who are borrowing up to 10 million naira below, what you might need for us to give us personal guarantors, and we have an array of other products which you don't even need some of those documentation. We are deeply involved in youth programs, we are deeply involved in gender businesses, and our focus is to actually see how do we transform our vast resources in the agro space, in the solid mineral space, and those involved in light manufacturing, including some select services, just to help to support the Nigerian system. I know that we have challenges in Nigeria, and as Firo said, yes, one of the issues is infrastructure. Talking about rail network, talking about roads network, we're talking about even water, power challenges that SMEs have to grapple with on a day-to-day basis. And it's estimated that the cost of infrastructure in a typical SMEs gets up to 40–50%. Because you don't have power, you have to run a generator, you have to do your own route, you have to run your own water, and all these challenges, ordinarily, if they are taken care of, it makes establishing business, running business better and easier. Compounding that now, the issue of security. Security is another major problem. Financing, we as an institution can provide funding. We have more than 7 DFIs in Nigeria. So we as a bank are focused industries who can provide funding, and we have so much funds not utilized. So we need actually people to come forward, but they have to meet some requirements to be able to provide this funding. And critically in funding arrangements, what are the things that you need? Firo talked about human capacity. I will add that issue of integrity and character. You can't get good staff to run your business. You cannot trust people you're even doing business with. It's a major challenge. Some of them will take a while to resolve, but we'll keep talking about them. Thank God now, we are eventually moving out of the issue of dual identity. Prior to the introduction of BVN and the current NIN, we had dual identities. People go to bank A, borrow, go to bank B, borrow. They will not pay bank A, not pay bank B, they want to bank C. Thank God, technology and CBN drives on the processes now. Anybody wants to borrow today, they'll do a credit check on you. You can no longer hide. And we're moving. BVN now, with that, they can lock you out of the system. So we're moving. So we hope in the future, the younger people are coming on board in the future, the issue of dual identity can be resolved so that we can do business in a better environment. In addition to what Firo said, I want to add that we also have challenges of skills and entrepreneurship knowledge. We don't have it enough. So we need to improve in that area. So whatever the collaboration we're looking at, the basis of information and technology and knowledge was also a part of it. Because without knowledge, how do you move from point A to point B? And the point, I don't know whether it's quoted, I made that point. The point of, we have a lot of universities, engineering faculties, we should find a way to collaborate with them too, because they are technical people. We cannot be thinking of setting up people, bring people from abroad to come and repair machines and infrastructure in Nigeria. What happened to all the investors and engineers we have in those places? So I will recommend that this association should also find a way to collaborate with the Nigerian investors, especially the engineering faculty area, in addition to those in business and finance, so that it's all encompassing to see how we can improve on what we have today to build a better Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the beautiful thought of yours that you have just shared. That is very, very good one. Okay, before I go to the next speaker, I'm hearing a lot of things that is calling a lot of us to work, the NCBN and how we can all collaborate, for Nigeria to be innovative and adopt a new ways of doing things. So I'm also hearing the lack of human capital capacity, the trust issue, and so many other stuff, right? We're going to have a mindset change. China used to have worse issue than Nigeria. So what did they do? They went back to drawing board. They spent a lot of money in human capital development, a lot of trade and artisans. And that's why today, if you go to China, you can see the result. You can find any kind of skill set you need to be able to manufacture anything. So Nigeria might have to adopt such move to be able to help solve our problems. So I'm going to go to the next speaker, which is Mr. Kazim Bello, to bring us a different perspective. Then after that, I'm going to call on Dr. Wahid. So let's hear from a brief about Dr. Kazim Bello. He has a master's degree in economics and finance, and a doctorate degree in business administration. He was a banker and a project manager for some top banks in Nigeria before relocating to United States. While United States, he's worked for commercial banking and trade services with PNB Bank of Pennsylvania and Citibank in New York or New Jersey, USA. He is currently the CEO of Africa Capital and Equity Funds Limited, based in New York, USA. Dr. Kazim, please come on board and share your view.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim, and our protocol observed. Quickly, like you said, I'm probably going to bring a different perspective to this discussion. Before I go into just one or two things I want to share, which are critical for the topic of the day. If you want to help, if you need my help for something, I need you to define the help. Then if the help is defined very well, I know how to help you. This might be directed to SMEDAN. I read that and I heard this morning that SMEDAN is putting in small, medium, micro and small, medium company in Nigeria to be 41 million. We need to go back to the drawing board, like the moderator just said. We need to be realistic with that number. Some of the international group that I belong to, they don't have such numbers. And it is easy for us to understand why not. We claim to have about 41 million micro and small businesses in Nigeria. And the definition of a small business in Nigeria is anyone that can employ between 5 and 250 people and generating a revenue in the region of 500,000 naira. Now, 500,000 naira by the exchange rate now, if we go by the exchange rate now, it's just about $1,000. That to me is unrealistic. We need to know what the numbers are, where the true pins is, before we can begin to understand how to comprehend the solution. There can never be 41 million small-scale businesses in Nigeria. South Africa is well more industrialized than us. They have about 5 million. I know from records straightforward that Nigeria has about 2.2 million formal sector small-scale businesses, and about approximately about 5 million in informal sector. Now, based on estimates, Nigeria we need to be creating about 1.5 million new small business, micro and small businesses in the formal sector, for consistently for at least 15 years in order for us to capture with the rest of the world. Those are the number I want us to be looking at. What can we do to generate 1.5 million new industries in Nigeria, new SME in Nigeria to oil the engine. The only sector that oil the engine of growth in any economy is the SME, period. The big industry is not going to do it. Now, I will now move on to what are the things that we need to be looking at. Finance. We have had finance all over today. I'm not going to repeat anything. Everything that has been said about finance is correct. It is very critical. It is the most important, if not all important, encompassing important thing for SMEs. My company, we are based out of New York. We are an offshoot of another major equity funds based in New York. We are working with a $300 million infrastructure growth capital funds for SME in Nigeria. Once the fund is completed, we intend to unleash that fund to SMEs in Nigeria. And that kind of fund is going to be, we are focusing on SME that have shows performance, meaning we are not investing in startup. It's going to be critically those that have shown profitability or good records, especially in the IT, technology, and the rest of them. The second thing that we need to focus on is, as also been said and beaten up so much today, is infrastructure. But the point I wanted to mention about infrastructure, I have not had anybody talk about logistics. You cannot move SME without logistics. I know it's part of infrastructure. You cannot. It is most critical part of it. If you go to China that we're talking about, or US, Canada, anywhere, it is the logistics that move infrastructure. The Apapa port is one in Nigeria, and you are looking for export. How is it going to happen? Number two, we also need to focus on commercialization of engineering, science, and technology invention. We do not commercialize those things in Nigeria. We have to commercialize it. You have so many young universities in Nigeria all over the place making good things, but there's no investment in commercializing them. You have to commercialize them, patent them, people will buy them and produce a lot of SMEs out of that. We need it. And finally, exchange program. The only reason why US or Canada can help Nigeria is to focus on exchange program. That has a lot of deliverables under it. I'm not going to go into details, but one of those details is the logistics that I mentioned about and other things. But exchange program is very critical. We can help them in Nigeria with a lot of exchange program to solve some of the problems that we are having here through exchange program that can be happening. Thank you very much for having me here today. Thanks.
Wow, that's a good one, Dr. Kazim. I saw so many hands up, you know. It looks like this discussion is generating a lot of interest, very interesting. Great insights, Dr. Kazim, you know, talking about the commercialization of engineering, science, and technology, you know, the STEM program. I totally agree with you. You know, something that is we see here in the educational system is the applied knowledge. And there's so much focus on the applied knowledge, being able to apply whatever you're learning, right? And apply it to real life solution and real life problems. But in Nigeria, we're gonna have to move to that if we're gonna be able to survive as a country in terms of joining the committee of countries that are doing well. Okay, so quickly, I know we'll have a lot of people that want to talk. Let's move to the next speaker, who is Dr. Waheed Olagunju. Dr. Waheed Olagunju, he has Bachelor of Arts and Master in Social Science from UNILAG, University of Lagos. He also has Doctor in Business Administration from Paris School of Business. He was the former MD and CEO of Bank of Industry. He's the founder of WVL, Development Advisor Limited, which is a development advisory outfit. And currently, he is the head of subcommittee technical working group on financial sector and capital market that is producing Nigeria medium-term national development plan, 2021 to 2025. He is a member of the Institute of Directors of Nigeria, Chartered Institute of Bank of Nigeria, Institute of Chartered Secretaries Administrators of Nigeria, among others. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Waheed Olagunju. Please come on board. Let's hear from you.
Very much. I must commend the organizers of this event. It's clear that you know your onions with all humility, because you've identified those who can give you first-hand information about the situation in Nigeria. Most of the speakers I know personally, they are the best in Nigeria in their respective endeavors. Also, Obaro and I were colleagues at the Bank of Industry. And let me make a correction. I wasn't MD, I was acting MD. Okay. I spent about 29 years in the bank, and on each time the politically appointed MDs were had to leave, I was the most senior professional staff. So I had to, for them pending when other political appointees were appointed to head the bank. So Obaro and I are colleagues at the Bank of Industry, and they don't come better than him anywhere in the world in his field. And same thing with Engineer Ozigi of SMEDAN. I mean, he's somebody that I know very well as well. And then Mr. Aduro Kutei, I mean, he studied food technology in also Ife, and he has serious passion for food processing. We've worked together with, I mean, he talked about Thailand, we were there together. Obaro and I were in Indonesia together at the World Bank annual meetings. Ozigi and I were together in Israel. So I'm giving you facts and figures, you know, and to let you know that all what they've said, I concur with them. All I will add is that I believe this platform is meant to provide more solutions to the challenges facing Nigeria, particularly in the SME sector, and how we can collaborate with Canadians, both Nigerians and diaspora, and probably Canadians who are not Nigerians as well, but who are your own friends, right? Like Honorable Abikadabiri was saying, who incidentally is also somebody who I'm very close with. We work together in the Nigerian Television Authority, and we're still very much in touch. There's a lot that can be done, right, by the diaspora population. We are now approaching the fourth industrial revolution, and I think we need to address that. We're talking about digitalization of technology, because I'm hearing that we should be talking about Canadian technology and how we can impact that, how can we use that to impact MSME development in Nigeria. So we need to address that. You people know what in areas of strength of Canada and how we can leverage some of these strengths to help in Nigeria. MSMEs operate in the three major economic segments: primary production, where you have agriculture, where you have extractive industries. And under agriculture, you're talking about aquaponics, right? Which is advancement in science using technology to promote. Look at Netherlands, for instance. It's a very small country, but their yield per hectare, livestock, milk, they're able to produce quite a lot. And Canada is also strong in agriculture as well. So in what areas can you transfer some of these technology or some of this knowledge to Nigeria to do business in Nigeria? Come to Nigeria with your Canadian partners who know you to come and do business in Nigeria. Then we can help you navigate the Nigerian environment. I mean, the lineup you have is super. BOI and SMEDAN have always worked together. We jointly designed the National Enterprise Development Program. And towards that implementation, in 2016, while I headed the bank, there was the joint mission fielded to Canada with the Economic Development Bank of Canada and SMEDAN and BOI. And we were thinking of how to collaborate. So I think we need to build on that to see how we can make progress on that. And also, I believe you should also have your export credit guarantee scheme, your export credit agencies in Canada who can collaborate with the Bank of Industry, for instance, because if we are going to buy plant and machinery from you, and then of course we're going to talk about how to maintain the plant and machinery, we should talk about financing as well. And then how some of these financing, the exchange risk can be managed. The Central Bank and the Bank of Industry have a perfect relationship. The CBN is the second highest shareholder in the Bank of Industry. And I know that they have an arrangement against managing exchange risk. And in the area of transfer, I'm aware that, for example, in the University of Toronto, there's a program called Digital Enterprise Management. At the University of Waterloo, there's a program in management, entrepreneurship, manage Lagos. Because we need to retool Nigeria with fresh skills to address the fourth industrial revolution as we move ahead. These are areas I believe we can collaborate. Now, infrastructure problem, megawatts in the country of 200 million. We cannot improve this overnight, but we believe that we can leapfrog building industrial parks, for instance, where you have, and technology parks as well, where you have localization of industries, where they're concentrated in an environment where they share facilities like power, water, security, and etc. So that will take care of a situation whereby each SME is its own local government. So industrial park is a solution to that. And talking about the partnership with the Nigerian and Canadian governments, there are a lot of areas where some of this aid, some of this assistance can be channeled towards solving some of these problems, because we can explore the partnership and collaboration. The capacity building is an area. Yes, there are gaps. I've always held the view that we have more resources than bankable proposals in Nigeria. The challenge is that a lot of people are not able to come together with potentially bankable business proposals. We need to work on that to build the capacity of our people. The German government has a center in Lagos, in Nigeria, where they work with Nigerian business training institutions to help build the capacity of Nigerians. I believe this can also be done with Canadian institutions to see how they can collaborate with Nigerians, to see how they can build some of their capacities. They are strong in extractive industries in the area of mining. New equipments are being invented every day, are being produced every day, for use in all these areas that we believe can also be used in the extractive industry. Then they're talking of agro, which is a secondary segment of the industrial sector. Those can actually, who can beneficiate, that's an area where SMEs also perform. Then of course, the services sector. The service sector is an area where we leapfrog into Nigeria. Accounting for modern sector is extensive. Like you mentioned, you talk about transportation, you talk about logistics, then we talk about entertainment, you talk about Nollywood. The Toronto Film Festival, a lot of Nigerian movies have been featured, and a lot of Nigerians keep participating in that festival. So that's an area where a lot of MSMEs are doing very well. And the contribution, the Nollywood industry is employing a lot of labor. It's perhaps second highest employer of labor in Nigeria, and most of them are MSMEs, and they are doing quite well. Like Muabudu wedding party, was a chartbuster. Some of these projects are even recession-proof. In 2016, she grossed more than half a billion naira during the recession. And then from Kakedele did last year, Omogeto, she surpassed what Muabudu did, and she grossed more than 600 million naira. So these are areas that I believe that the Nigerian SMEs are doing quite well, primarily production, secondary, and then tertiary, including the creative industry. And then, of course, solving some of those challenges, like I talked about, we can collaborate in the area of capacity building, in the area of financing. The Bank of Industry can work together with the DFIs in Canada. Like in the US, for example, they used to have the OPIC, which is Overseas Private Investment Corporation, that supports even Nigerians who have American green cards, who are American citizens, who want to come and do business in Nigeria, with the American partners. Of course, those funds are tight. You must use them to buy.
So Wahid, we can't hear you. It looks like you have a connection problem.
Goods and services produced.
Okay.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah, thank you.
You can hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
Like I was just talking about the Overseas Private Investment Corporation of the US, OPIC, that supports foreigners who have dual nationality. American Nigerians, for example, want to come and do business in Nigeria. OPIC supports them. They've been transformed now into United States Government Development Finance Institution. You must have a similar equivalent in the US. So within Canada. So look inwards, look into those institutions that can collaborate with Nigerian institutions. You can see willingness on part of SMEDAN, ready to work with you and Canadian institutions. This is the Bank of Industry, ready to work with you and their Canadian counterparts to jointly support SME businesses, because you are going to make money. It's not grant, it's not aid. And if you make money, you repatriate your profits back to Canada. They should see from that perspective as well, right? I mean, the return on investment in Nigeria is one of the highest in the world, at about 40%. It is true, production costs are high, but most businesses tell us that the economy pays its way, because the kind of returns you can make in Nigeria cannot make elsewhere too. That's why on the Forbes list, you find out that top Nigerians, 5 of them, are making their money from Nigeria. Aliko Dangote, Samad Rabiu, like that. The business development in Nigeria, risk and the reward. Risk can be high, but the rewards too one of the highest in the world. But I believe these are phases that we will overcome.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Wahid Olagunju. That was a good one. You know, just listening to you, I'm happy to hear that we have the movers and the shakers of the Nigeria economy on this platform this afternoon. So I'm going to have to suggest that we're going to have to make sure we hold all of you tight in terms of moving forward, in terms of working together collaboratively to help build Nigeria. NCBN, we're build bridges. You know, we build bridges. You know, we have to create opportunities. We have to link people up. But I think we're going to have to do more than that, right? Listening to you and all of you. So thank you so much for that grateful insight. And again, I hear before we go to question and answer, Barrister Akinleju, you mentioned someone who would like to speak, Mr. Elsie Ezekiel. Do we still have him? Do we have Mr. Elsie Ezekiel on the bridge? Okay, all right. So maybe we should go to Q&A, and if Mr. Elsie wants to speak after that. I see a lot of hands up. I'm going to start from, I'm just going to randomly pick anyone. Okay, so, well, Engineer Awal Ibrahim, please unmute yourself, and you wanted to ask question. Is the question you have?
Yes, thank you very much.
Please go ahead.
Yes. Yes, can you hear me?
Please go ahead, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Engineer Awal Ibrahim. I'm the National Vice President of Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprise, NASME. We are on the board of SMEDAN. I'm also the technical advisor of Miners Association of Nigeria, NASIMA Mining Trade Group. NASIMA stands for the Chambers, National Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mining and Agriculture. So I'm also the workstream lead of the mining and extractive workstream of the African National Implementation Committee on African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. So we have, based on all these engagements, we have consulted with key members of the organized private sector, namely Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, NASIMA, NASME, on the MSME development, capacity building and linkages and formalization. So we have now come up with an SPV, and we have just signed an agreement with SMEDAN, named an International Economic City Abuja Limited, where we have 465 hectares of land. It's a private sector driven initiative, but we want it to be initiative of public-private sector interface for the development, capacity building, and formalization of MSMEs. We have just signed agreement with SMEDAN on that, and we are in talking with other state governments to establish these clusters and look at established platform and SPVs on commodities, MSME commodity trading exchange platform, MSME machinery and equipment leasing, MSME energy and infrastructural development, as well as so many other and the mining sector. So because of the time frame, we are going to put up a write-up to this forum, NCBN, and then work towards actualizing this dream that we have just had with SMEDAN as a private sector initiative for capacity building, development, formalization, and linkages for the Nigerian MSMEs in key sectors of the economy. We are clustering members from all the key sectors, being transportation, agricultural commodities, livestock value chain, and cluster them and then make up, aggregate them, and put them up and they link them up to international trade and global manufacturing value chain, because as a members of the National Trade Facilitation Committee with the Federal Ministry of Trade, we are working on the WTO program of informal sector formalization into international trade value chain. So we are looking forward for robust, having Canada is a very strategic country in mining, in agriculture. We are looking forward to more robust collaboration and partnership with Canada, especially now that we are having SMEDAN have given us all the platform and support of so as to actualize the public-private interface, because the reality is that before you develop the MSMEs, you need a public-private interface program, and you need a private sector-driven approach, but public sector supported. So we are trying to bring this model to the MSME development in the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Engineer Awal Ibrahim. Thank you so much. That's a good one. It looks like we have our hands going to be full, and be able to work with all of you to make sure we can achieve what you have mentioned. And so for just a quick one before I go to the next person, if anyone would like to connect with any of the speakers or please drop your contact. We can marry both of you together in terms of connecting and linking you guys up. Again, we would also like a follow-up, right? Where we are building our contact, we are building our database, so that at least we can always have all of you and be able to work with all of you. Thank you. Mr. Dulo Kute.
Mr. Moderator.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, yeah.
Can I just come in? I just
sure,
wanted
please.
to ask engineer, the last speaker, if he's working with Fleet because of the same project that he's talking about, does he know Adebola Mohammed? Because we do have a relationship with
Mohammed, okay.
Yeah, with Adebola Mohammed, and he had mentioned the same project that the
engineer just talk about.
I just said, but we'll still connect with him and then carry it on. We'll put our contact in
Adebola Mohammed of which organization, sir?
Yeah, Fleet.
Fleet?
Yeah.
FL?
Yeah, FLEE Fleet. Are you familiar with that organization?
I've been hearing of the name, but I've never come in contact with Adebola Mohammed.
No, Fleet is an acronym. I think something.
No, it's right, Mr. It's right. Anyway, we'll connect both of you and we'll discuss further. So I will.
Okay, sir. I'll be grateful. I'll be grateful for that.
So, hold on, engineer. If you can drop your contact in the chat, so that would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me drop it here. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Jackson, go ahead. Jackson, you have something?
Yes. I mean, I wanted to speak to some of the areas and engineer just talked about, specifically how we can, support efforts from back home and ensuring that our SMEs are linked to the global manufacturing value chain. Because again, this is an area where China has leveraged that saw them, lift over 700 million people out of poverty in the space of 30 years. So with affordable labor back home, from low skilled to highly skilled personnel. So we're NCBN. We've been working closely with him and his partners back home on to see how we can leverage capacity from Canada to support efforts back home at ensuring that, because we have to beyond crude oil, we have to earn more foreign earnings, to support the growth and development of the Nigerian economy. So, engineer, I really thank you for that very insightful presentation, and NCBN will be following up with you further to in the implementation of this Canada-Nigerian bilateral framework. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jackson.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Jackson. So I will call on Balema Lebo, please. You have your hands up.
No, I think I should. You called me and you did not allow me to talk.
Oh, we did. Well, sorry about that. Go ahead, then we'll come back to Balema then. Please go ahead.
Okay, having BO, SMEDAN, then the SME and the engineering department in the university start to work together then it means BOI has to do a lot in bringing the stakeholders together, the SME, the machines that are broken down that can be repaired by these people. Because along the line, I've called some of these institutions. I've even given them machine to go and repair and copy so that they can replicate and make them available to other SMEs. But up to today, they did not come with that. And I think they need a lot of encouragement for them to see that they will work for profit. They will do this thing and they will make their own profit out of it. And at the same time, still bring the price within what MSME can afford. Then the other one is, okay, like if we have BOI and SMEDAN working with the SME on this particular issue, there is a separate project which they have not done before, and it's something that they are capable of doing. Then the other one, to generate SME in Nigeria, okay, that's to increase the volume or the number of SME in Nigeria. We all agree that skill acquisition in food processing and packaging methods is essential. And to this effect, we are working with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry in Lagos. And at the same time, Raw Material Research and Development Council to train 5,000 youth and women in Lagos, and then 15,000 across the country. And this, we have done things like this before with the sponsorship of BOI. We trained almost 5,000 people on tomato processing in Nigeria, from Kano, Kaduna, Abuja, and Lagos. Then GAIN, Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, also sponsors to also train people in Owerri, in Lagos, in Kaduna, and in Abuja. So with this one, then Raw Material Research and Development Council also sponsors us to train people in Akwa Ibom and Kano on packaging methods. So through this one, a lot of these people have started their own food processing businesses. And if we have assistance from people in Canada, then I know we will do more. And again, there's someone who talked about mobilizing funds. I think this is a place that fund can be mobilized in building the capacity of people in food processing. If not, a lot of food wastages will happen. And with the training, and if SME are on track, they will be able to produce intermediate products that other industries will use. Just like we produce intermediate products from soya, and then multinational industry are using it. Instead of importing, one multinational was importing from South Africa before, but now we've been able to stop that and conserving foreign exchange for the country. So these are the areas the SME can actually work, produce intermediate products for other industries. And in this way, they will stay in business for quite a long time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kuti. Okay, I would like to call on Balema Alibo, then I will come to Fatima, then to Engineer David. So Balema, please go ahead.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Good evening, everyone, all protocols duly observed. So I have listened to all the speakers, and I'm quite excited about the prospects that we have in Nigeria if we're able to truly harmonize the discussion with key actions. So what I want to say primarily is I I'm a young and a budding entrepreneur, and I've worked in the industry for just about 10 years plus in oil and gas, and I decided to leave and focus on entrepreneurship as I've introduced in the chat. So I'm calling out to the seniors, the elders who are on this call, who have and who understand the ropes on how to achieve some of all of these challenges that we are faced as a nation, and to help with some bit of mentorship, succession planning, and make it a bit of guidance for younger entrepreneurs to be able to achieve these industrialization dreams that we all have, or that I have as an individual and many others do have. And I've been able to set out my own automation plan to help with the inclusion of many others who are left out with regards to this knowledge. So Mr. Duro Kutei, I've listened to him. I will still reach out to him. Mr. Wahid Lagunju, I will still reach out to him. Then also the NCBN initiative, is it a free body? Because I just heard about it yesterday. Is it something that you have to pay to be a membership on? We would like to know all those modalities, hopefully on your website or via email. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. If you can, you can get it on our website, but if you can drop your contact, we can also follow with you, and we can give you the details of NCBN and how you can be a member. Thank you. So I would like to call on Fatima. Fatima Obadaki. Sule, please come on with your question. Yeah.
Yeah, good evening. You guys are doing a very good job. I must commend you. I am the chapter president of Fashion Designers Association of Nigeria, Abuja. I'm based in Abuja at the moment. And in time past, one way of encouraging fashion designers is inviting them for fashion shows abroad, not only fashion shows, exhibitions, where they can sell their product and they earn foreign currencies and bring them back to Nigeria and invest into the economy. But of late, even despite the fact that the African, we have a budding industry where now people all over the world know about our they appreciate our textile and they wear what we produce, but there has been less expo. The expo there's no expo again. We don't get invites for such expos. So I want to encourage the Nigerian Canada initiative. I'll appreciate if they can do more of that for our members so they can earn good money. God bless you.
Thank you, Madam. Jackson,
go
ahead. Jackson, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, please. Madam Fatima, thank you for that request.
Yes, sir.
NCBN stands for the Nigerian and Canadian Business Network. So we are a body of Nigerian professionals and captains of industry in Canada. We have very, very extensive working relationship with both governments of Canada and Nigeria. In fact, working closely with the trade desk of the Nigerian High Commission in Ottawa, usually when officials of the Nigerian government are visiting Canada, we are always on ground to receive them. Canada's largest, mining, the world's largest mining event is held in Canada every year but disrupted due to COVID-19. So usually when the delegation from the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, when they are on ground, so we're usually here to receive them, to help them achieve the reason they're visiting Canada. So what am I trying to say in essence, Madam Fatima, is this: we will establish contact with you. Our role is to see how we can support ourselves in Canada and as well deploy capacity to support efforts in Nigeria. All information regarding fashion show, everything related to your sector, we ensure we have you on our mailing list so that you'll be promptly notified once we have such information. And also in terms of logistics, your travel arrangement, like I said, We have very extensive working relationship with the Nigerian High Commission in Ottawa. So work closely with them to see how we can have representation, fashion designer, represented at shows here in Canada. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Madam. Okay. So there you have it, Madam. So can you drop your contact so that we'll be able to follow with you? I would like to call Mr. Olusegun. I'm going to come to you, but I'm going to call Engineer David, then come to Mr. Olusegun Dada. Then I think Mr. Obaro would like to say more stuff. So Engineer David, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I hope you are hearing me this time around.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Go ahead. Yeah.
I am particularly excited. At the last check, we have an attendance of 71, and for a first outing, that is not bad. Now, I have been raising my hand for long, but hello?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you. Keep going.
Yes, but majorly some of the issues have been addressed. Particularly, I wanted to draw the attention of the moderator, the host, to some of the people in the house that have been raising up their hands.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Duro Kuteyi and Engineer Awal Ibrahim. Awal Ibrahim made elaborate comments in the chat, and I'm happy he has been given the opportunity to expatiate. Duro Kuteyi has been identified, has been recognized, so I'm happy about that. But additionally, there is Engineer Dr. Ibilola Amao, who also made some comments in the chat. I think after now, there may be need to give her opportunity to expatiate on her comment on industry, academia interaction. She also raised the issue of STEM. Having said that, I want to make hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, please keep going.
Yes, I want to make two quick comments.
Sure.
Foremost, my presentation or comment was very brief and it was very deliberate. It is to allow the entrepreneurs in the house to have the opportunity of, because we really need to listen to them. And that's why I made very brief comment. Conscious of the fact that we desire to not to make this meeting too long. Now, Dr. Kazim Bello made very useful observation. And after my brief comment now, I'll be asking my colleague in the house to respond to some of the issues, very important observation that Dr. Kazim Bello raised. But before Malam, Mr. Tony Ibrahim Abdulmalik, are you still in the house? Tony Ibrahim Abdulmalik, I want you to comment on his observations. But having said that, the data that I quoted is that's the result of our survey, in collaboration with Bureau of Statistics. It's a 2017 data, 2017 data. I want to say that MSMEs in Nigeria is, as we speak, is being redefined. For instance, we're introducing the category called the nano enterprises. And I also should add that there's also a conscious effort by SMEDAN through a number of programs and projects to consciously move some MSMEs from micro businesses from the informal sector to the formal sector. So I will expect Tony Ibrahim Abdulmalik to expatiate on some of this.
Okay. So before Tony go ahead, I would like to give more, we have more people that are asking questions. That will be helpful as well. I would like to give audience to other folks to ask more questions. They will come back to that. Is that okay?
That's fine. Ms. Firo Al-Hassan, I think I should end my comment. There's a lot to talk about, actually. We cannot exhaust it. Ms. Firo, Madam Firo Al-Hassan, she raised very important issue of addressing the issue from the foundation and going back to the basics. She talked about the infrastructure challenge, power challenge, and but the solution to that may be clustering. And my Egbon, Dr. Wahid Abdul Olagunju, Dr. Wahid Olagunju partly alluded to that. So I want to say that SMEDAN is consciously promoting a clustering program. Our industrial development centers, 23 of them all over the country, we are consciously redeveloping them into cluster parks. So where we promote these clusters, And through this network, this collaboration, we can have captive powers in each of these cluster locations. So we can consciously address the issue of inadequate energy for MSMEs, particularly those of them that will be coexisting in the various cluster locations. Talking about our cluster program, we have 6 as a pilot, 1 in each of the geopolitical zone. In Abuja, we are promoting the furniture cluster. And that we have already gone very far with the infrastructural development. Hopefully, come January next year, that cluster will be up and running. So these are the very brief comment I have for now. So maybe when we have taken all the comments and questions,
yes, please.
I would want to Tony Abdul-Malik to
okay.
comment.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, engineer.
Yes, I want Dr. Ibilola Amao. She raised a very important issue of industry-academia collaboration. I'm happy that Kuteyi and Ibrahim, Engineer Ibrahim Awal has spoken. The other person I would have loved to hear speak is Engineer Dr. Ibilola Amao to elaborate on what her comments.
Sure, we'll surely come back to that. So let's hear from Mr. Olusegun Dada. I know, sorry, you'll be raising your hand for too long. So please, can you go ahead and...
I'll make it very fast.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Ibrahim, Mr. David had actually waited to hear my comment.
Okay.
But you will have this comment, this my observation or contribution to his comment. Yeah, my name is Olusegun. I was a former national treasurer of the Nigerian Association of Small Scale Industrialists. I was a former state chairman of the same association for 4 years. I stepped down honorably in 2019. I am also a consultant with the German Agency for International Development, the USAID. I work with the CBN on the AXMIS program, the Agri Small Medium Enterprise Investment Scheme. And I've also worked with the BOI on the counterpart funding they have with the state government. I have to raise all these. I want to drop my image or whatever, but to bring out some funny points that we might not have mentioned earlier. When I became chairman of NACI, the first thing I did was to raise data of membership. We went around the nooks and crannies to raise data of members. We ended up raising data of about 7,000 SMEs in Ogun State that we could work with. Why data? Data, because without data, you can't plan. You can't do nothing without data. You can throw all the money in the world at SME problems. You can talk about machineries, you can talk about training, you can talk about funding, credit for their businesses and what have you. But if you don't have data, you can't plan. And what do we mean by planning? Planning means understanding the real problems of SMEs. And I'll tell you one that has not been mentioned here. It has to do with human resources. From my experience, my collaborations with various SMEs, I told you I'm also a consultant in enterprise development with diverse, multilateral, and international organizations. Human resources is the biggest challenge of SMEs. And I will explain. Give me money today, I will buy all the machineries I need. I will buy all the equipment in my office. Then I will now want to employ people that I think will be able to take my business to the next level. Now what happens? The next minute, the person comes in, he sees my business as a small business. He has a BSc from Babcock or from any other university you can think of. Deep in his mind, all what he's thinking about is marking time with my small business. Most small businesses will never grow if they do not have the right human resources. Human resources is key. I may have all what I need in my business, but if I don't have the right people to work with, to help me to take the business to the next level, I may just be operating like a one-man business. I will have them as staff in name, but in the real sense of it, they are not staffs. They are just there to mark their time and go after they get a job with a bigger company or with the biggest companies, the large organizations like BOI, they get a job with SMEDAN. They're just marking time there. So I've always said this to SMEDAN. I work with Bumi in Abeokuta, staff in Abeokuta, your coordinator in Abeokuta, Bumi Daudu. And why can't we develop a system, a mechanism, just like various organizations have developed working with other businesses? Like if I'm selling on Jumia, I have a reference system that marks my my performance. If I am good, somebody tells, they mark it there, they give a comment under my name and says, this company delivers right on time. If I'm not good, I see it there that I do not deliver on time. Why can't we have a mechanism like that that takes care of human resources for SMEs in Nigeria? It is very simple. We don't need to throw money on this. It's as simple as ABC. Build a reference system that connects SMEs and all their staffs so that when a staff is living somewhere, a reference is given to other businesses that, okay, this staff, Mr. Olusegun Dada has Mark and Brands Limited in Ogun State, he has left, and this is what he or she has done for there. I won't tell people for the sake of, data protection and whatever. Somebody sends me a reference and asks me if somebody works with me, and I tell the person that I can't comment on that over that person. Oh, I have given a red light, a red flag. I've raised a red flag about that particular person. Why? The moment these people working with SMEs know that there is a reference system against their name, they give their best. It happens every other part of the world, but it's only in Nigeria that these people know that if any malfeasance that they commit, wherever they find themselves, they do it and they go scot-free. So how will, even when you improve power, when you give me all the machineries, and I do not have correct staff to put all those machineries to use, my business will never develop. So I'm asking SMEDAN, what is the big deal in having a reference system for human resources for small businesses in Nigeria? So that is for me, SMEDAN. Now, for NCBN, Canadian Business Council, Council, I work with the German Agency for International Development. They have a lot of interventions. The good thing about international development agencies is that they don't throw money at problems. They throw brains at the problem. Is it not possible for the NCBN to work to find a way of interacting with the Canadian Agency for International Development? Because I know they are also active, but they may not be as active as these other ones. If NCBC, I think I'm right, the Nigerian Canadian Business Council can have a working arrangement with the Canada Agency for International Development in bringing interventions to SMEs in Nigeria, I think it will further strengthen and improve the image of NCBC. I want to thank, in closing, I want to thank the person that invited me here, and I got this by accident at work, I have to say, but I have enjoyed every minute of my time that I spent here. All contributions are very valid, no doubt, but that small issue of human resources, sincerely speaking, as small as we think it may be, is a massive issue. I am an entrepreneur, apart from being a consultant with development agencies. I'm also an entrepreneur. I represent 3 major American companies in Nigeria, but my biggest problem is with human resources. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Olusegun Dada. That was a good one. Okay, I would like to call on Mr. Obalo to speak. Then we go to Mr. Abdulrahman before we come back to SMEDAN. Mr. Obalo, can you go ahead?
Mine is a very short one.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Very short one. First is Kazim Bello. I put a comment on the chat room. I'd love to collaborate with him because he spoke about SME funds of about $350 million. I want to engage him further on that.
Okay.
I also want to refer Firo El Hassan, Wisdom Fruit and Vegetables, to please visit Bank of Industry, Abuja office, if he needs any financial support, and also same to There's a lady involved in furniture who also said it's in Abuja. You know, the BOI has an office in Abuja. Okay. If they can also visit our office, let's see how we can support their businesses. Thank you very much. That's Fatima Obadaki.
Yeah, Obadaki, yeah, Fatima, yes.
Yes. We also support fashion. She's into fashion, so she should. Yep. I appreciate if she can also visit our office in Abuja if she needs any financial support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Obalo. There you have it, folks. You know, we are bridge builders. You know, we link up folks. You know, now you can see part of the result right here. Okay, I would like to call on Mr. Abdul Rahman, then Mr. Adela Midada. So Abdul Rahman, can you go ahead?
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Abdurrahman Yakubu, the CEO to Grimester Enterprises Nigeria Limited from Kaduna Incubation Center. So we are into the processing of date powder, coconut oil, carrot oil, coconut flour, and other things. So my question is this: on the issue of references about the employers. Sometimes the employers are not even treating their employees very well. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Keep going.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay. So sometimes in the issue of referencing, most of the employers are not even treating their staff, the employees very well. So as such, they find it difficult when people ask them a question about commenting on who have worked for them to comment on. And my second question is that how can we, the entrepreneur, access a fund to expand our business? And my third question is, how can we connect to find a leverage in taking our product up to the market there? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that great question. Okay. So next, I think Mr. Adela Midada, can you go ahead with your question? Mr. Adela, can you unmute yourself and go ahead? Okay, we can't hear you. Prince Lekan, go ahead with your question. Prince Lekan, I see your hands up. You have your question. Okay. All right. So SMEDAN, do you guys have anything that you want to add? Or does anyone else has anything that you would like to say?
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Please go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, my name is Ibrahim Tony Abdul Malik, Deputy Director, Engineering, Technology and Infrastructure, SMEDAN. Let me just speak briefly on the issue of data. Dr. Hakim Bello raised an issue and said the ceiling for MSME classification in terms of asset was 500,000. That is not true. Medium enterprise has a ceiling of 1 billion. So the classification is from 1 naira to 1 billion. So comparing, he also said he doesn't believe that the number of SMEs is actually 4.1 million SMEs in Nigeria. I want you to realize that this is even a survey. It wasn't a census. A survey is sampling. If we had done a census of SMEs in Nigeria, I'm sure it's going to be very high, more than that figure we have quoted. Now, in terms of encouraging and creating more, enterprises in Nigeria, like from the survey, we said 99.8% of that 41.5 million is in the micro enterprises, and most of them are likely, in the informal sector. What are the conscious efforts made by SMEDAN to move them to the next level, which is the small enterprises? We have what we call conditional grant scheme, where they are giving capacity building, after which SMEDAN opens a bank account for them, register their businesses for them to make it formal. So these are some of the issues we do to encourage, some of these businesses. We also have the National Business Skill Development Initiative. It's a total package of entrepreneurship development. We have vocational skills, entrepreneurship skills, and empowerment. SMEDAN, our primary function is entrepreneurship skill, but we engage resource, people from outside to do the vocational aspect of it. while SMEDAN undertakes the entrepreneurship skill aspect of it, and we buy the equipment and supply to them. Because we know some of the challenges they have is issue of equipment. This year, we are giving out and training 145 enterprises in each of the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT. And they are going to be trained on the various skills they have, that is improving their training in the various skills they have, give the entrepreneurship training, and also give out equipment in the various areas, ranging from fashion design, welding, fabrication, aluminum fabrication, hairdressing, whatever, areas of skill that was sent to us from the various state offices. Because SMEDAN has presence in all the 36 state offices, and we have 6 zonal offices. So I want to thank the organizers of this forum. It's a very laudable one, and we're looking forward to improving on our collaboration, because it will open more frontier for SME development in Nigeria. So I wouldn't want to say much, because my guy has also spoken about some of the issues that SMEDAN does to improve and increase the number of enterprises in Nigeria and improve their development. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We would like to wrap up. It's almost 4 o'clock. All of you have been good by staying up for this long conversation, which has been so fruitful. So I will, Philo, you want to have, before I wrap up, you want the last minute, you have something to say? Philo, go ahead.
So I just basically wanted to touch base on something that's important. I think it's important to prioritize the issues, because based on the sectors, the needs clearly differ. And even within the sectors, based on the level or the size of the company. So if you're talking of micro or small, the challenges and the possible solutions and areas of collaborations will also differ. But I want to plead we focus on the foundational ones. So for example, as a processor, for me, foundational issues are things like power, first of all, and then of course the human capital gaps. Human capital gaps, if we go through the referencing recommendation that has been put forward, for example, that would be basically treating after getting sick. We still have to dig deep into the institutions. So I want to recommend we prioritize these things, and then that will guide us better as to which ones to start with in addressing and determining the collaborations to have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philo. That we'll take that away, and that's a great input. Yeah, thank you. So without much ado, I would like to invite the chairman on NCBN, in person of King Wale Adesanya. Please come on board.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow. This has been a wonderful 2 hours of nonstop engagement. We call it the Bridge Builders Series, but I think we supersede ourselves. We are solidifying and we are building bridges between people instantly. I was thinking that it would take a little bit of time, but I'm very impressed that we actually have instant connections with our SMEDAN and with a group of people that are that are needing help, and we're getting support. But Mr. Moderator, Mr. Ibrahim, is it possible to give every speaker a 1-minute closing time, just so that they can wrap up their submission, please? And then I'll come back and
Sure. 30 seconds each, please.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Yeah, that's right. I know we're over time, but it will be.
So let's start.
It would be
Sure, we can do that. So let's start from Mr. Engineer Abu. Let's start from you. Make it brief, please. Yeah.
Yes, just to agree with Mr. Dada, the issue of the price of human capital cannot be overemphasized. As a matter of fact, labor remains the most important. But generally speaking, all the issues have been raised. I believe the host will be sending us a documented record of our proceedings of this discussion, and we'll be moving forward on the suggestions in collaboration with NCBN to address this issue for the betterment of the MSME community in Nigeria, and to further improve our collaboration with Nigerian Canadian Business Community Network. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. So let's talk. I would like to call on Mr. Duro to give his final remark. Mr. Duro Kuteye, please go ahead.
Yes, with what we have had, I don't have any doubt that SMEDAN, BOI will work with the SME to actually mediate between the SME and the engineering centers while we are waiting for the assistance in the area of skill acquisition training, the one we are doing. At least if we are doing about 5,000 in Lagos, and the rest of the country, we are doing about 15,000. With encouragement from all these financial institutions, is better. We will definitely increase the number, and we are looking forward for the assistance from any angle that can assist us to make sure that we boost the number of food processors in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I would like to call on Philo, Philo El Hassan Kaka, please give your closing remark.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll just have my last contribution and my final comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I would like to call on the Mr. Obalo Hermosa, please give your closing remark.
Okay, just to say thank you to the organizers, and to also state that events of this nature creates more awareness, provides net opportunities, and creates more collaboration. Nobody can do it alone. The issues are many, challenges are many. So I encourage more collaboration to see how we can move our country forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Dr. Kazim, please give your closing remark.
Yeah, thank you very much, the moderator. A lot have been said, and the problems that SME are facing is multifaceted. We have identified quite a lot of them today, but I will summarize that finance remain one of the key issues. I understand that what I said about raising growth capital for SME in Nigeria will interest, and I will connect with the moderator to figure out to share those information later. We will need to see more of that, and I think Honorable Abike Dabri also mentioned that in his opening remarks. There's need for private and debt equity to move into SME in Nigeria. A lot of that to help in Nigeria. Finance is the key. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Kazim. All right, Dr. Wahid Olagunju, let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you very much. In whatever we do, we should see how we can deepen the domestication of our production capacity in Nigeria. And that speaks to the engineering collaboration we're talking about. There are some success stories, like there's a guy called Nobex in Nigeria who produces flash dryers for cassava, and he exports to other African countries. He has done quite well. And they've benefited from the collaboration between FUNAB, Federal Institute of Agriculture and Abeokuta, and the Greenwich University in the United Kingdom, through some sponsorship from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the Ford Foundation. Those are success stories that I believe we can leverage on getting our production capacity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so our King Wale, are you coming up to now give your closing remark?
Definitely. Dr. Olagunju, Dr. Wahid Olagunju, we have a good relationship with you while you were at BOI. You mentioned the time that the Nollywood came to Canada Festival. BOI was one of the sponsors of the event that we did with Abike Dabiri at that time.
Correct.
And I believe you were the president of the bank at that time. So
Correct.
it's been a good relationship, I hope, and we want to continue with you. We also want to, probably you're going to be getting a letter from us inviting you to maybe serve as part of the advisory committee, for the network, so that at least we can tap it, we can work together and synergize together to see how we can create opportunity and employment for people in Nigeria. So we like to tap into that relationship, to continue. And I'm sure.
Kinwale, before you close, sorry, should we give a recognition to the president of Toronto chapter first before you close? I totally missed that. So.
Oh yeah, I thought that was my job to do that.
You are the one. Okay, go ahead. So we need to recognize that.
I thought no, I was just talking to Dr. Olagunju, because BOI under his management when he was acting, partner with us to host about all the delegates that came in from Nigeria at that time. To the what's the name of the festival again?
Toronto Festival.
Yeah, that's right. So basically, we have had a good relationship, and we'd like to continue on that good note. But you know what? This event would not have happened if not for the energy, the energy of the Toronto GTA chapter, because under the leadership of Barrister Kiwumi Redu, because he worked tirelessly on this. They came up with the engagement which we had with SMEDAN. I think we had a prior engagement with them, and then to lay the foundation for today. And I can tell you today it's been a great success. Despite all the challenges, I think it's a fantastic turnout. We thank everybody that took the time, to at least join us. The delegates, the names of animals, Firo, Duro, Obaro, Kasim, Wahid, David. On behalf of the network, I want to say that you are now part of our family. You are part of the network now, because we believe in relationship building. It's all about what you do after you make the initial contact. You can either build on it or you can just let it go. So we intend to build on it. So please feel free to contact us. Our email is info@ncbn.ca, which is the Nigerian and Canadian Business Network. So we'd like to hear from you from time to time. You can go on our website. If there's anything that you need that you think we can, source out for you in Canada or in the US, we'll definitely, like to work on it for you. I thank, the Vice President from our GTA, Mr. Jackson Guinness, who is going to be, who came up with the concept by itself. So we really appreciate all of you, all the stuff that you have been able to share with us today, and we expect that we will continue to do that. I don't want to take too much time because we have exceeded the 2 hours that we plan to keep this information going. But please, please, please keep in touch with us. Let us know, because your success is our success. So if SMEDAN is successful, most of the companies in Nigeria will be successful, and we would like to partner with SMEDAN to make sure that SMEDAN is successful. We'd like to continue working with our Bank of Industry, and we're also going to bring in the connection that we have. I was telling somebody the other day that in the network, we have over 6,000 years of experience in Canada, of which, myself, personally, I can say I bring in at least 40 years experience of being in Canada. So I know, when we had all our membership is over, definitely over 5,000 years of experience in Canada that we can bring to the table, with you guys. So please, thank you. Keep up the good work. Let us find a way to continue this conversation. because it's what we are trying to build is a web of, progressive, business-minded people. So thank you. We all thank you on behalf of the network.
All right, thank you, everyone. All right, thank you for making my job
you.
easy.
And thank you, moderator. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, for those of you that weren't able to answer your questions, email us, send your question to us. We would like to take it from there. All right, have a good evening, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Everyone, good night.
Good night.
Good job, guys. Good job. Very good.
Yeah.